Southside 457.
Did you know that the Southside on Lamar is a National Historic Building?
This building tells a story.
I need a story to connect to with my heart.
There are so many stories in this building.
I wanted to teach other people how to naturally love themselves, and so I ventured into the field of opening my own spot.
There are people in this building with a passion to share what they know.
When I share my knowledge and my skills and my gift, I'm serving my purpose.
Preachers, teachers, architects, attorneys, engineers, artists of all kinds in this building.
What makes this place tick to me and makes it exciting is the combination of so many different kinds of people.
It's like a melting pot.
It's like a melting pot.
15 years, I've never regretted being here at Southside.
Welcome to the Southside 457 podcast. I'm your host, Walter Johnson Jr. Let's get it on. You can't miss the princess.
Listen, Linda, listen.
Southside 457.
Welcome to the Southside 457 podcast. I'm your host, Walter Johnson Jr. And today we have a very special guest, Mr. PK. He's a futurist, author, Forbes bestseller, Wall Street bestseller, and a global thought leader. Welcome to the show, Mr. PK.
Hey, Walt. Thank you for inviting me. I'm excited every time.
Oh, brother, thank you.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too. So one of the things that we always ask everybody that comes on the show is you don't just bump into the South Side. You either get invited or you get introduced, or for whatever reason, you just don't just bump into the South Side. So how did you get here?
Well, first of all, respect to all the creatives here. It's a massive building here, and you have different impact makers, culture shapers across the building doing incredible things. And it's always fascinating for me every time I have to come here to see the uniqueness and the originality around different works going on here. But how did I get here? Because of the nature of my work, I get to travel a lot, and I get to work with different action figures and impact makers across different industries and markets, right? So, and then there's always a need for photography or some video recording or some makeup artist or something. There's always a need for that. It's either for myself or for my clients or for friends or people who are traveling or moving with. So I guess there was this time that I was in the city and I needed to have some headshots.
Yeah.
And I needed to have some headshots, and somebody mentioned, Walter. And I said, okay, let's find him. He's a great guy. He will get us. He will get us just Shola. Like that. Yeah, it was Shola that told me that we should do that. Yeah. Shola is doing amazing stuff now, But so we came in and we had, a nice photo shoot. Got our headshots done, everything real quick. Got the pictures right there. Immediately, it was perfect. We shared that on our platforms, and it went so good. And I said, man, this is awesome. We need to keep this going. But by the time we met, I felt that I wasn't just meeting a professional. I was meeting, a fellow traveler. I felt that I met someone with something unique and special. And I felt it was necessary for me to connect and beyond work. And so we've maintained our relationship. We've been friends ever since. And I've been here a couple of times since then for different meetings. Few times. Meeting, business, and different things. But yeah, my experience here has been amazing. And I'm going to keep coming as long as here exists, right?
Right on. So there's going to be a few people, that see this and they're going to be like, okay, who is PK? And there's going to be a lot more people like, I know who he is.
Yes.
Okay. So explain to the people what you do, exactly what you do, because you are a world traveler and literally a global leader and a global thought
leader. Thank you, Walt. Well, first, they could just Google it.
What does that mean, though? Like explain to them,
Yes, I'll do that. I mean, first of all, my real name is Olakunle Shorian. That is Olakunle Kunle, first name, and my last name is Soryan. The meaning is a Yoruba name from the western part of Nigeria. It's a very rich African name. Olakunle means there's a lot of wealth in the house. And trust me, I'm experiencing that. And my last name means that human beings see everything, including wizards, that wizards see human beings.
Yeah.
That's what my last name means. And my first name means there's a lot of wealth in the house. In Africa, names don't just exist. They try to use names to define their expectation and faith about the future that they perceive about you. And so every African name comes with a rich meaning, at times deep culture, at times deep tradition, history, right? Heritage. So that's my name. You could Google it and you'll find everything about me, Olakunle Shorin. But yes, I travel around the world as a thought leader. And so as a futurist, the idea is you do have a set of skills and gifting as well that allows you to have some sort of prescience where you can see the end from the beginning, the capacity to sit today and understand future human experiences, how the future will play out, about products, about markets, about industries, about everyday contemporary life, right? And you get to use a lot of trend watching, pretty much strategic foresighting to pre-play the future and look at its impact on today. How can people position intelligently today to receive the future and choose how they play in the future, right? I say it every time that human beings are not designed to pursue their dreams. You are not designed to chase your dreams. You are designed to position for your dreams. And what happened to so many people is they chase their dreams. We call it hustle. And every day you're hustling, chasing what is chasing you. Your dream is chasing you, you are chasing your dreams, and you keep missing each other. It gets to where you should be, you're gone, right? You get to where you should be, it's gone, looking for you, right? I'm a person of faith, and I read the Bible a lot. There's a scripture that says that goodness and mercy shall follow you. He did not say goodness and mercy shall be before you to be pursued all the days of your life. No, goodness and mercy shall follow you. It means that goodness and mercy gravitate towards you. They are looking for you. So wisdom is not to look for what is chasing you. Wisdom is to position, to receive what is chasing you. And so popular culture has given us a sense of responsibility that pushes us to hustle and toil, and we receive
hustle, grind,
grind.
Gotta get it, man. Gotta get this.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you receive that as some type of a sense of mission. But what is happening?
Like this is what you're supposed to do.
This is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But the human destiny is ease. Toil is not part of our equation. And once you miss that, you are going to stress unnecessarily.
Hold on a second. Say that again. The human destiny
is
ease.
And stress is not supposed to be part of the human equation.
Yes.
Right?
Stress is not supposed to be part of the human equation.
You are not supposed to.
I'm stopping at these moments because I think people need to get it.
Yes, because
that's good.
Because people need to realize that fish doesn't have websites. Birds in the sky don't submit proposals. They don't have business cards. They don't do podcasts. Right?
Yeah.
The lion in the jungle does not need, a business meeting. Yeah. A fish just needs to be a fish. Stay in the water and your genius will show up. As long as the fish is in the water, it's not going to stress. Or the fish cannot be so determined and say, look, we're looking for the next life. We need to go to the jungle and go see what's going on there with the lions. Yeah. Then you're going to die because you are going out of your natural design, right? And as long as the bird is in the sky, it's going to be fine. It's going to be taken care of, right? As long as the lion is in the jungle, it's going to be fine. If you find a lion that is struggling, it must be either in a circus or in a zoo. The moment you take it out of its natural design, it begins to struggle, right? The human being is the only species who doesn't know how to experience natural phenomena, because by the rules that define him, made by men, he must get out of his comfort zone and he must run and he must hustle and do stuff. So
Why do you think that is?
because he's busy trying to make it instead of being busy trying to be human.
So instead of being, instead of doing.
You need to be more. And that means something.
Yeah.
Now, the lion is just a lion, and it's fine. The fish is just a fish, and it's fine. The bird is just a bird, and it's fine. And that's what the Bible was saying when it said, look at the birds of the sky. They don't spin. They don't have websites. They don't do complimentary cards. They don't do business meetings. They don't do road shows, right? But they are taken care of. The fish of the sea, the same thing. The lilies of the valley, the same thing. As long as you remain in your natural design, everything comes to you. The human being is the one who goes out of natural design. So the question is, we know what it means to be a fish. We know what it means to be a bird. We know what it means to be a lion. What does it mean to be human? What does it mean? Is it because we have a mouth, we can talk? Is it because we have a brain, we have legs? No. Those are features that define the human condition. They don't speak to the essence of the human condition. So life does not reward us for our similarities. We are rewarded for our difference. Our difference is our critical success factor, our critical relevance factor, influence factor, greatness factor, wealth factor. So what is missing in our human story is the idea that we want to be everything but human, right? And
we want to be everything but human.
And if you look at it, you look at the wristwatch. The watch has features. There are different features that define the watch. There's the leather stripe. There's the gold stripe. There's a silver stripe. There's a manual watch. There's the automatic watch. There's different kind of watch. Those are features. But there's a constant that defines all watches, regardless of the features. What is that? It tells time. That is the essence of the watch. You can have different features, but once you don't tell time, you are not a watch. You're probably a whoop or a but you're not a watch yet. Once you become a watch, then you must tell time.
That's your responsibility.
That's your constant, and that is your essence. The same thing for reptiles. All reptiles must crawl. You must crawl. Reptiles can have a tail, they can have venom, they may not have venom, they could have scale, they could have different things, but all reptiles must crawl, right? The same thing goes for a car. Cars can have manual transmission, automatic transmission.
Electric.
They could have, electric. They could have manual. They could have electric windows or manual windows. They could have alloy wheels. They could have, normal wheels. They could have leather seats or fabric seats. Different types of things define the features of the car. But the essence, the constants that define all cars,
they must roll.
Movement.
Yeah.
Movement. Speed. No human being should outrun a car. Once a human being can outrun a car, then it's not a car. So movement, speed, and efficiency, that's the essence of a car, right? Nothing else. Every other thing about a car is technicalities, right? So we know what defines the essence of a car. We know what defines the essence of a watch. What defines the essence of a human being? Because legs and shoes and all of that and eyes and nose doesn't. 3 things. Number 1 is the capacity to love. No other species on the face of the earth can love. To love is not possible except you have the capacity to hate. So they say, oh, dogs love you. No, dogs don't love you. Because dogs are programmed to supply that. They don't have the choice. A dog cannot choose to hate you, right? Neither can he choose his behavior. It depends on the carrot and the stick that you are offering, right? There's no species on the face of the earth that has the capacity to choose love or to choose hate, such that every time he loves, he ignored hate. And every time he hates, he ignores love. Once the human being can do that, so what does it mean to love? To eliminate fear around you. Perfect love casts out fear. Love is to eliminate fear around you. The human being must be able to do that. Number two is the capacity to give. Because no other species can give, right? What does it mean to give? Because when you pay school fees, you're not giving. That's duty. When you pay rent or you provide money in the house for food for the family, that's not giving. That's duty.
Survival.
Giving, that's survival. Giving is empowering a world beyond the one you own. That's giving.
Hold on. Giving is empowering a world
beyond the one you own. Right? And every time you do that, you're giving. The third one is service. So you have loving, giving, and service. And what does it mean to serve? To solve demonstrable human problems around you. And number two, to help fellow dreamers and fellow travelers to achieve their goals. That's service. And if you are doing those three things, it is impossible for you to fail. Everything comes to you, right? If you're busy serving, lifting demonstrable human problems around you, helping dreamers, and fellow travelers on their journey to do what they do, you are busy giving. Giving doesn't have to be money. It could be your time, your energy, right? Your network, but giving, of which money is part of it if you choose to do that. But it's not limited to money. Every human being can give, except you deny that you have something.
Yeah.
Every human being has something to give, and every human being can love. We stress when we come out of those three zones. Those are the zone of positioning. And it's so easy. Everyday contemporary life forces you to get out of that. You don't have time. You don't, nobody should, bullshit you. Nobody should, BS you and all of that, and we are trained to be dispassionate, all in the name of doing the needful. But that's unhealthy capitalism, the idea that you can get everything you want, regardless of how it impacts on other people.
Yeah.
Right? So as long as it makes sense to you, then it makes sense. And that's not true. It can make sense to you. Something makes sense to everybody in jail. Something makes sense to everybody. Right? It doesn't matter whether you do the right thing or the wrong thing. Something has to make sense to you to permit yourself to take action, whatever that action is. And so what makes sense is very relative. What passed the test of essence is what is constant, right? And I don't know why I went in this direction, but...
Hold on. What passed the test of essence is constant?
So that what passed the test of constant is constant. And that constant is what defines you. And all human beings, it doesn't matter if you're white, green, black, wherever you come from, all human beings have the potential to love, to give, and to serve. And I don't know any one person. So for me, I went off the question you asked me. The question you asked me is about me. But what I'm trying to say is that every day I try to stay true to that design. And that's the work I do across the globe, helping people make the shift from who society wants them to be versus who they are born to be, and using that power.
So since we're there, so what is a practical approach to getting back to that place and to getting out of the hustle and to getting into that flow and that constant, reality of being?
Yes.
Instead of just, grinding and grit. How does one get to that place when they find themselves in that groove?
Yes.
And that's what you do, right?
Yes,
You
that's
help
what
them.
I do. I help people make that shift. Now,
so help them, PK.
Yes. So there's a lot of work to do there, but I would say that, everybody will not have the opportunity to sit in a room or to be supported by an expert and to be guided by somebody who knows what to do. But this is what everybody can do. The first thing is to gain understanding, because when you know better, you do better. So you gain understanding of who you are born to be, right? And that is also a symposium discussion. That is something you can study forever, right? Who are you born to be? Because you never met yourself. A moment after you met yourself, you change, because adults of your life, the doctor, the nurse, your siblings, your mom, your dad, the neighbors took you. You were too young to audit what they were pouring into you, how much more to resist it. So for the next 18 years of your life, you are a victim
picking apart
in the life of these people, because no one is self-made. We are all products of influences. And the adults of your life continue to influence you. So by the time you were old enough to recognize yourself, you lost yourself already because you never met yourself. So how do you get back to that guy? Right? And I would say that it doesn't matter who that guy is. The constant is that that guy is born to love, is born to give, and is born to serve. And if we understand that and going forward, begin to premise all your actions, all your major decisions based on that. So can we invest in this business? Can we do this together? Okay, great. How does this support my commitment to love, to eliminate fear around me? How does this support my commitment to give, to empower worlds beyond the one I own? How does this unlock my sense of service, solving? How does this solve demonstrable human problems? How does this help us to help more, right? So when you begin to select your friends, because I say to people, you need their commitment to always allow people, places, and moments to qualify for the investment of your time and your energy.
People, places, and moments.
People, places, and moments must qualify for the investment of your time and your energy. You can't be available for everything. And if you slow down and kind of live in what I call deep time, where you are not moved by the force of urgency, and all of that.
False sense of urgency. Everybody, it's urgent to everybody else. Right?
Do you understand? So you slow down and say, okay, so what does this mean for me? I want to date somebody. I'm going to marry somebody. I want to live in a neighborhood. I want to do all of that. All of that must qualify for the investment of my time and my energy. And the metrics for measuring that essentially is how much it impacts on my right and my freedom to love, to give, and to serve. Even the environment I want to live in must pass that test, right? The work that I do, the businesses I do, the places I go, the way I show up, the way I dress up, the way I conduct myself, my sense of mission, my sense of thoroughness, my sense of dignity, my association, my social connections, everything has to come down to how I love, how I give, and how I serve. There is a congruence that you bring to your life. There is a constance that you birth when you start thinking like that. And there is a momentum you begin to build and a force that gives you spine. You know, you become more centered, right? The moment you start, slowing everything down and compelling your environment to respond to the weight of your own preference. And that takes some intentionality. I'm 53 now. I tell people I've seen 10 years 5 times. And I've realized that a lot of what we count does not count. Yeah. And a lot of what truly counts is not counted at all. Yeah. So part of wisdom is to get out of that generic energy and try to build your own story. And trust the future, but accept that you are born into a very unique, authentic path. Nobody's going to be like you. You can't walk and create too much miracle when most of what you do answer to the generic. When you do too many common things, what everybody can do, you're not going to do anything special. You will be around, but not present. Pretty much like, you are doing a lot, but nobody's aware. When you imagine that billions of people are in this world, billions, why should anybody know you? Billions have come billions have left unnoticed, right? So if you believe that there's a destiny ahead of you, that the world will recognize the difference that you bring, then you have to get out of the generic and start to understand the flavor of your difference and try to force your environment to begin to experience that difference.
So you said the first step to get out of the generic is understanding.
Yes, clarity. Very important. And
Second step?
So from understanding, you begin to pay attention. And I say
Awareness.
to people, awareness, and begin to recognize that your life will never progress beyond three things. When you mess up your life or you create magic in your life, is because three things have been well managed. And I mentioned them earlier: people, places, and events. When death is sure, retirement is guaranteed, you are at that departure lounge of life, ready to take the flight, your life will be proportional. The size of your pocket, the wealth of your peace, the weight of your legacy is going to be proportional to people, places, and events. The people you gave access into your life and those you denied access. The geography you chose to see and the ones you refused to see. The moments you prioritize and those you refuse to prioritize. That's life. Nobody has more money than that. Nobody has more misery than that. It doesn't matter how your life turns out. It comes down to those three things. You have to erect a protocol. You have to erect some kind of gate. People have to qualify to experience those three things, and you have to be intentional about how you are experiencing those three things, because when everything is about to go wrong, somebody's going to come into your life. And when everything is about to go right, somebody's going to come into your life. So if that is true for everyone, and that is true for every human being that have ever lived, whether it's Jesus or Muhammad, then you have to come into that place to say, I can't be unguarded or casual about how I meet people. Everything looks ordinary until something stupid happens. Yeah. Everything looks ordinary until something great happens. So there's ordinariness is a myth. Everything is extraordinary.
Yeah.
There's nothing called ordinariness, because ordinary moments have sent people to jail. Ordinary moments have made people billionaires. So there's nothing like ordinary. You have to prioritize every moment. In every moment, there's something at stake. Whether you see it or not, it doesn't matter.
There's something to gain and something to lose.
That's it, right? At every point in time. So that is how I run through life, and that is how I help people get better in life. So gain clarity and pay attention, right? Just accept that there's always something at stake.
So getting clarity, we said was understanding. And paying attention, we said, was awareness. But what does that look like? What does paying attention look like?
Yes. So like I said, it's erecting that gate. Because the three things you do every day.
Yeah.
Think about it. The only things you do every day is meet people, be in places, and stay in moments. That's all you do.
Meet
all
people,
your life.
Stay in places. And
anywhere you are in life, whatever you're doing.
Meet people.
Meeting people. Being in
places,
and staying in moments. That's your life. It doesn't matter if you're having sex or you're drinking or you're making money or you're in the bank. At any point in time, you are doing those three things. So, I always tell people, how many keys do you need to open a door? Just one key. You don't need a bunch of keys to open a door. So there's too much knowledge in life. You don't need to know everything. Yeah. There's some basic things you need to know. This is one of them. So many things going on in life. Can you dimension everything to something simple and easy? Yes. People, places, and events. That's everything. That is everything. Yeah. So at every point in time, when I say hello to somebody, I know I'm saying hello to my freedom or my jail. That's how I see the world. At every point in time, when I say, hi, can we have a drink? I'm having a drink with my greatest pain on my easiest bliss. I don't know yet, so I can't be casual. A part of me is very alert. I'm discerning. I'm intentional.
So those are the things right there, like discerning.
Yes.
Because that basically helps us to know if this person we want to spend that time in a place with.
That's it. That's
so. So discernment is a key. It's a key factor. But
it's a key factor.
But do you feel like everyone has discernment?
I think
there's levels. I think
there are levels to it, but there is a quantity that is resident in all human beings.
Fight or flight is a discernment.
Yes, so there is a gifting that is natural. God had to put that inside of you, so that your miracle or your breakthrough are not tied every time to the approval of a third party, right? God will never put your miracle beyond your reach, and He's not going to put it in the hands of your adversary. There's enough component, there's enough quantity, instruments in every human being to navigate its next level, who approves or not, right? And these are natural giftings that God gives every human being. What the enemy does is to shift you away from the knowledge of that. I always say to people that the best of you is always in you, but the completion of you is going to visit you. As long as you are alone, you are enough if you are not talking to anybody. You know, motivational speakers say, oh, you are enough. I tell people, you're not enough. You can't be enough. You can't make money on your own. You're not enough. You are enough when you are alone. As long as you are not talking to anybody, you are not doing anything, you are just meditating, you are praying, you are reading, you are enough. The moment you begin to think task or project or work or business, once you start thinking about something, you are no longer enough. So you have to collaborate, right? Because they say when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. That is assuming he knows the way. When the going gets tough, the tough must seek collaboration. It's through collaboration that we get stuff done. You're going to connect to people. But beyond people, there is a higher factor that is visiting you. And dreams visit you. We don't dream, we think we dream.
Yeah.
Dreaming is bigger than imagination. There is intentionality in imagination. There is intentionality in thinking. Dreaming is not thinking. Dreaming is not imagining. Dreaming is deeper than that. Dreaming, you see, dreams are entities that visit you regardless of your state. Dreams visit you. Your real job is to see the dream, welcome the dream, host the dream, and give it residency in your life. But dreams are independent quantities that will always find you. You see, people say opportunity once lost can never be regained. That cannot be true, and that completely violates the force of dreaming.
Yeah.
If opportunity once lost cannot be regained, right, then redemption is unnecessary.
Yeah.
Repentance will not make sense. Anything return will not make sense. Replay will not make sense, right? So if someone is in jail today and in 15 years is a millionaire, then what happened to him, right? It's because opportunity once lost can always be regained. Opportunities lost today goes into your future to multiply. And they come back to you bigger. Because when you lost it, you were single. When it's coming back, you are married with 2 kids. It has to come back bigger to serve you in the moment that you are in, and that is the place of dreaming. The reason why even in the most terrible people, the potential for newness exists is because dreams is a constant. It doesn't matter what your errors are today. It doesn't matter what your foolishness has today. The potential for newness is always a possibility.
There's always a possibility for new beginnings.
Yes, and you have to believe that. That's not motivational speaking. That is how the universe is designed.
Yeah.
Every human being has the capacity to be greeted with newness consistently till the day you die. That is why somebody can be a millionaire at 70. That is why Ray Kroc, who started McDonald's, to start doing something at 57.
That's why you never stop dreaming. And you never stop while we're living. You just always keep reaching and
because there's something bigger than you that's always looking for you.
Yeah.
And the way I say that is, and in my life, having journeyed across the world, and I'm a very content person and very contented person, but I've seen some success in my life. And, I've been in moments of cluelessness, and life just happened. And great things have happened to me without me doing anything. Nobody can convince me that outcomes are completely tied to efforts. Because there are times when great outcomes, have nothing to do with your effort.
Yeah. And I call those like open doors.
Yes.
Like I've had opportunities in my life that all I had to do was walk in. I didn't have to go send my resume. I didn't have to do anything. The only thing that I had to do was just agree to the opportunity. I had to say yes to it.
Yes.
That was it.
Yes.
That's it. I just had to say yes to it. So just think about it. So saying yes to that, I had to say no to something else.
Every time. Every time. It's called opportunity cost.
Yeah.
It's called the alternative forgone in economics. Yeah. So every time you say yes, there is a cost for that. There is something you are saying no to. The problem with people is they want to change their life. They want to say a lot of yes without saying no to something.
Yeah.
And the most powerful word...
It's releasing it's holding and letting go. Holding and letting go.
And I tell people that the most powerful word in the world is no. If all you know how to do is say yes, you'll be used, abused, taken for granted, cheated, and even killed in this world. A part of your maturity must be able to say no. No is more powerful than yes. Yes is easy. It's a gift of nature. Any fool can say yes. No is tougher. It's a demand on your consciousness. And so,
because it costs you something.
Because it costs you something. And don't get too comfortable saying yes. As a matter of fact, wisdom is every time you say yes, search for the no. You must say no to something. If you can't find that no, your ship is not safe yet.
That's like this is for those guys that want to be married, and you say yes. You got a whole lot of no's.
you gotta pay attention to the no's.
Yeah.
Right. But I say to people, and this I want to say to people out there. I don't know what you're facing. I don't know what you are going through. I don't know where you are with life. I don't know what complexity you are dealing with. I don't know what your history says. I don't know what errors or moments of unguardedness has cost you. But recognize that newness is always ahead. Something bigger, refreshing is always chasing you. And possibilities are always trying to sit in your life. And this is important, Walt, and bigger than you, capable of changing your life in a moment, is always watching you. Always watching you. You may not see that eye, and it's a human eye. It's a human eye. This is the way God has designed life. There's a human eye with the capacity to change your life in a moment, for good or unto evil.
Yeah.
Both eyes are always watching you. When you perform every day, don't perform for everybody. Like I said, you don't need a bunch of keys to open a door. Think of that one eye. Every action you take, you are performing for that eye, right? Speak at the highest level possible. Move at the highest level possible. Show up at the highest level possible. Do everything at the highest level possible. Now, don't try to be the best, just be your best. Because there's a difference.
Yeah.
When you want to be the best, you can get into the Joneses and trying to be like everybody.
Yeah.
God will not expect you to perform on my terms.
Yeah.
To whom much is given, much is expected. To whom little is given, little is expected. So God looks at your own capacity to determine the mountains that you climb.
We all have the measure of faith.
Measure of faith. And so respect your journey, honor your difference, and trust the future. Some eye bigger than you is always watching you. However, keep your dreams alive. I tell people, work is a lot of demand, but imagination is free. Optimism costs nothing. Enthusiasm doesn't cost $1. Dreaming doesn't cost anything. And those things, invisible, intangible, they are as powerful, but as a matter of fact, more powerful than the things you see every day and you touch. A man who works hard but cannot dream will still be poor. And on his best day, he will be average. The United States of America is not built for everybody. I say that every time. Now, I'm not an American in that sense. I wasn't born here. But guess what? If I've studied this country and I've made a conclusion completely that America is designed for dreamers. If you are not a dreamer, you are going to be a casualty or a victim or a slave here. Because this system is designed for dreamers. And I don't care how hard you can work. I don't care how smart you can work. I don't care who knows you, who doesn't know you. I don't care where you schooled or where you've not schooled. I say to people, anywhere you are in the world, black, brown, white, whatever, whoever you are, in addition to all you can learn from human beings, take the freedom to dream. Greatness doesn't come from hard work. It comes from dreaming, because when you dream, you plug into a higher currency than your experience. And something bigger than you comes for you. And miracles and doors begin to open for you beyond your experience. A lot of times people are overqualified for their present position.
I agree with that.
Overqualified. And when you look at it, and having worked with thousands of people in the last 30 years of my life, I found out that what is really missing in a lot of people, despite all their hard work and everything, is dreaming. When you see people like Elon, he's a dreamer.
Yeah.
First, Elon is not trying to be global. He's not trying to succeed. He's galactic in his thinking. And when you are galactic in your thinking, you have a mind that transcends the planet. That is why he can wake up and say, we want to go to Mars. The same for Jeff Bezos. That's why they can be thinking beyond planet Earth. A galactic mind is open to eternity. You are not defined by any ceiling. There's no geography. There's no border in how you experience the world. And you have to keep your mind galactic. So that it doesn't matter whether you are in jail or you are in your bedroom or you are in a skyscraper, your mind is bigger than the geography that attempts to define you. And that's how we must all think. And when you get into that zone, more will visit you than you can possibly create.
Yeah. But the dreaming part.
Yes.
That is we still have to say yes to it.
Yes.
Because it can come and we can just discount
And
it.
that is why.
But we have to say yes to it.
Yes.
For it to flow.
And that yes is what I call welcoming the dream.
Yeah.
And how do you do that? You can't believe it. Pen and paper.
Write it down.
Write it down. When you write it down, it doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to make sense. But the moment you write it down, you are announcing to the universe that a part of you is ready and connected. You don't think about plans. Plans are luxury. You know, if you are ready, you're late. And a lot of times when you want to be ready, you are making plans. And I say something precedes plan. And that is audacity. I call it adventure capital. That is the freedom to have your highest moment without facts. Because facts can be a prison in itself. Logic can be prison in itself.
I always tell, like, when I'm sharing like ideas and dreams with some people, and if they start shooting my, like, I'm like, this is not, you can't do that. Like, I'm sharing this right now, and I'm dreaming. Allow me to dream.
Yes.
This is not the time to assassinate my dream. I'm not asking you for what you think about it
No.
or if it's gonna work.
Yes.
I'm simply sharing my dream, and
Yes.
and dream with me. Let's
Yes.
see if this thing can let's grow this thing. I'm not asking you to. This is not a moving target for you to
Yes.
try to aim at and shoot.
Yes. As a matter of fact, part of what I found in my research, I didn't tell you, Walt, I'm writing my book, Feedback from the Future.
Feedback from the future.
Feedback from the future. And that's my second book. And what I'm documenting is these things that we are talking about.
Yeah.
And I'm interviewing billionaires and successful people across the globe to say, how did you do it? What role did dreaming play? What part of your manifestation is hard work? What part of it is happenstance?
Yeah.
Because I realized that there's more happenstance than hard work. There's more.
And they make the biggest impact.
Right?
Yeah.
But when people tell their story, they talk about what they did. They don't talk about what happened to them, what visited them. Right? Most people, I was thinking, I planned, I did this. And those who don't have much to do feel disqualified. But that's not how the universe is written. Our stories are already written, and it is the duty of the human condition to accept that there's something great, larger than your history, always ahead of you. You must take that as a given. These are nutrients that you're not just going to be some other guy. You're not just going to walk the earth like billions of people are going to do. They will experience that because nobody spoke to their design, and nobody reminded them of their being. And for those of us who have the quality of coming into that consciousness, we owe it to history. I talk about the future of history because history has a future. There's history that is unknown yet. And what we are doing now is future history. And part of our wisdom is by how we conduct ourselves today. Everything we are doing now
Shaping
will
tomorrow.
become tomorrow's history.
Yeah.
Will become the future, and that future, when it happens, become history. So every day we live, we create a new past.
Yeah.
Right? And so in taking a stake in the future of history, we must accept who we are in that documentation. Years ago, I made up my mind that I'm a special person. I'm royalty. I'm a king. And this heart is worn by kings, in the Midwestern part of Nigeria. And I wear it, it's not just a fashion statement, it's to remind myself that I'm a king and I'm a priest in the world. And what I mean by that is that I have mastery over my human condition and my spiritual condition. And the power to manifest resides in me and is completely left to me to manifest it. And that if I stay true to my essence and I honor my unique journey, that I will come naturally into a place of power and dignity and honor, and that I will use that arrival to lift so many people around me, to unlock gratitude around me. And I don't know how you will have such a commitment and the universe will not compensate that. The universe compensates anomalies. The universe compensates resolve. It doesn't matter who you are. When you begin to stay in your difference beyond the limits of your similarities with people, you are making a big statement to the universe, and God honors that. And much more than you can ever study begin to visit you. And I believe that is what is happening to some of the billionaires that we respect in the world. They are just people who have accepted responsibility for their preference. and we
Just
can
just being themselves.
just being themselves.
What they like, what they don't like.
You know, somebody told me that
Going to measures.
a young man needed to take a certification in some coaching path for him to be all that he want to be, and the guy doesn't have the money, so he came to me to give him a loan to go for the course. So I told him, you know, I can give you the money, but I want to ask you a deeper question. The first person who certified people, who certified him? Where did he get the knowledge from? Where did he get the certificate from? Why do you allow one to infinity to oppress you? The guy who started certifying people functioned in 0 to 1. He didn't have any precedent. He didn't have any standards.
He created
He
the standard.
created the standard. Now he's telling you can't find your nest without this standard. And that's fine for as many as will accept it. But a rebellion must live in you. I call it creative rebellion. To let yourself know that your nest is always within reach.
It's always 0 to 1.
0 to 1. And you have to stay in 0. 0 is not empty.
No.
There's so much power in 0. The world was created out of nothing, and
Think about it. It's the circle. It's the circumference of everything, right?
yes, 0 is everything. Look at it. We don't see. I'm talking to somebody in Japan. There's no physical connection between my phone and his. It looks like there's nothing going on there, but there's a lot going on that we don't see, and there's so much power in the intangible realm. And when we are smart, we begin to understand that everything material and everything physical has a metaphysical connotation, and that the things we see get their life from the things we don't see.
Okay. So there's so much. We these are, man. We can go off.
Yes.
So let me break it back down to. So what do you feel about like social media and how it all takes place and what somebody's doing and not doing, and the whole 0 to 1 concept?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we need social media in the same way we need a gun, but what do we need it for? And at what level is having a gun wise and having a gun foolish? Guns are great because they help us to hunt and have food. You know, they help us to do many things, but they shouldn't make us do what is wrong, right? So a gun in the hand of the wrong person becomes a weapon of destruction. A gun in the hand of a police officer who is trying to protect me, it's a good thing, right? And that's how I see social media. You can abuse it and it can work for you. But again, you have a responsibility to write your own story and to curate your own experiences. The architecture that defines that, right, is resident in all of the force that media means to everyday contemporary life. You can't be anything if you don't honor the media, right? The media is such a powerful instrument for storytelling of any kind. Somebody can tell your story.
Shapes the narrative.
It shapes the narrative. And
who controls the narrative? Controls
everything. And at times, it doesn't even have to be true.
Exactly.
It just need to be believed.
Yeah.
Right. And so wisdom is to take a stake in that. I mean, you can't, this social media has come to stay. It's going to get more and more relevant. So what you want to do is to gain understanding of it and see how you can maximize it. But then there's a lot of waste and destruction happening there as well. Yeah. Young people are missing it completely because they indulge in the frivolosity that defines that platform. I'm on social media and I'm quite active on social media, but you won't believe it. I spend only 1 hour on social media every day. 1 hour. And in that 1 hour, I have 4 platforms. I have LinkedIn, I have Instagram, I have Twitter, I have Facebook, and Thread. So I have 5. In 1 hour, I have to go to my DM across all the 5. And then whatever time I have left, I will see whatever is on my timeline. And that's it. Till tomorrow. I then get people whose job is to spend time on social media. And I pay them to do whatever they need to do on my account. But I'm not born to see it on social media. I am born to change the world. Social media is a means to the end that I see. It is not the end.
You understand it's necessity.
It's a necessity, it's a tool, it's an instrument, and I'm focused on that. And as long as I remind myself of that, I will always maintain the necessary focus that is needed for me to do what I have to do.
So let's talk about the book.
Great.
So you wrote this book that's currently out. It's on the bestsellers list. Give the people the title of the book and tell them what it's about.
Yeah, the book is A Love Affair with Failure.
A love affair with failure.
Right? Wall Street Journal bestselling book, USA Today bestselling book, forwarded by a gentleman called T.D. Jakes, great guy. And the book has done well and is still doing well. The idea behind the book is the suggestion that failure is an impractical proposition, that is impossible to be a failure, right? You can be failing, you cannot be a failure. Why? Because failure is a noun. A noun is the final name of a person, place, or thing. Dallas, that's a noun. It's not going to become New York, right? Shoe, that's a noun. It's not going to become a watch. It's a shoe forever. Microphone, it's a microphone forever. United States of America, that's a noun. It's always going to be United States of America. So when something is a noun, it should be literally incapable of changing, right? So when somebody is called a failure and tomorrow is the next millionaire and everybody wants to talk to him, that is, something is wrong because he was a failure. He should never be able to succeed again. So when you are a failure, redemption should be unnecessary. Redemption should be impossible. Transformation should be impossible if you are a failure, right? So nobody is a failure because we know so many failures yesterday who are today's successes, right? So, but failing is a verb and it's continuous. So as long as you are breathing, your breath is proof of something higher to conquer. And so your worst condition as a human being is failing. You can be failing, but you can't be a failure. And as long as you are failing, the potential for success, the potential for newness is always available. It's always there. So our book is trying to make people understand the necessity of failing and the impossibility of failure.
They asked Thomas Edison one time, they said, like, how does it feel? Like what made you keep going after trying to create this light bulb? And you failed like 1,000 times. Like, what made you keep going? He said, I didn't fail. It just took me 1,000 times to get it right.
Yes. As a matter of fact, he said he just learned every time he failed, he learned a new way of not doing it.
Yeah.
So the practicality is to understand that the human condition is imperfect. Nobody born of a woman can supply perfect behavior every time. On your best day, you will still make mistakes. You have made, you will make, you are making. So if you insist that only through perfect behavior will you have peace, then you will never have peace. Because you will always make promises to yourself. You will break so many that you have made, right? The human condition itself cannot contain perfect behavior every time, cannot contain perfection every time. So all flawedness is imperfect. but not all imperfect is flawed.
Yeah.
If the Garden of Eden was perfect, Satan should not be there.
Yeah.
If Adam was perfect, Eve should be unnecessary, right? The idea is that a part of you cannot find its highest power except it can connect to something beyond you. And that is the definition of your imperfection. And as long as you are imperfect, you are susceptible to error. The news of making a mistake is never your story. It is what you do with that is your story. And so all men fall. Those on a mission get up. In getting up, they pick something from the floor.
Good.
Right? And that's the story of everybody. It doesn't matter if it's Jesus Christ on the cross. It doesn't matter if he's a billionaire. It doesn't matter if it's Thomas Edison failing over 900 times. It doesn't matter who you are. Your mistakes should not shock you. You should anticipate it as a human being and choose your attitude when it happens to you, because it will. It doesn't matter how prepared you are. There's always something, I call it unplanned interruptions. There's always something on the horizon you couldn't have prepared for. And when it happens to you, and it could be anything, right? But you can choose your attitude in it. And our book is pretty much empowering people to see beyond the limits of their prevailing condition and to understand that on the highest level, there is a season of cluelessness. There's a season of struggle. There's a season of error. There's a learning curve every time. And you can allow it to drown you, or you can choose to see and go forward. For me as a person, I've struggled with everything. I've tasted everything from chewing gum to substance of all kinds. And I've failed, but I was never a failure. I spent 12 years in a college trying to get a degree. 12 years. I had 8 years of extra failing and failing. I studied a 4-year course for 12 years, right? And
A lot of fun, though.
it was terrible. It wasn't an exciting thing for me when I was going through it.
Yeah.
But when I look back at that now, I'm like, it's practically impossible for me to be who I am now without going through that. As a matter of fact, what I tell people now is there's nothing like that. But assuming I can come back to this world and I can do life all over again, I will do everything I've done again. I will be stupid again. I will be foolish again. I will make mistakes again. I will do everything I've done again. I will join my family again. I will be part of the history that I've known again, as long as it will bring me to where I am now. Because where I am now, I have no regret. Now, somebody said, but if you didn't make those mistakes, maybe you'll be somebody else. I say, it's true. If I didn't make those mistakes, I'll be somebody else, definitely, because I will not have the experience I had. But who knows? I could have been shot as well. Yeah. Who knows? I could be in jail. I could be poor. Maybe I may be richer than now. Maybe I may be somebody bigger than now. I don't know, and I will never know, because this is the life I lived. But this life I live, I have no regret. And my pain and my struggle have formed for me a story with priceless wisdom that others can lean on. I'm grateful for those experiences. Maybe it's providence. Some call it luck. They can call it anything. But somehow my experiences have led me to the place of power and strength that I am now. And I'm not perfect. I'm so far from that. But I won't deny that I'm in a great and special place. And there are thousands of people across the world who find inspiration and strength in what I represent every day. So my story have turned out to be a major instrument for the awesomeness that I know now. And that is what we were documenting in the book and trying to recommend, different vistas and different portals to looking at life and taking responsibility in that to architect your own unique story. That's what it's all about, a love affair with failure.
That's good.
It's on Amazon. People can find it.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna let everybody in just a few minutes. You can tell them where they can find all this stuff.
Yes.
But I have a couple more things, and then we'll close. One thing, you have a documentary, something that you're part of, or something that's coming up.
Yes.
So, what's that about?
So that's called Perception, and is a documentary that attempts to address the negative narrative that trail what and who a Nigerian is. There's so much negativity about the Nigerian in the world, and people, have a problem with our sense of, call it audacity, some call it arrogance. The world is upside down. People walk upside down. Their legs are really up and their heads are really down. So when they see 6, they call it 9. When they see 9, they call it 6 because they are upside down. When they see confidence, they call it arrogance. When they see love, they call it stupid. When they see prudence, they call it stingy. When they see principle, they say it's mean because they are upside down. And there's a lot of interesting energy that follows the Nigerian, anywhere. And a lot of people have done very silly stuff who are Nigerians, but they are just a minority. People don't know that Nigeria is the most populous black nation in the whole world. And you may not understand that, but if you wake up in the morning and you look around you and you see thousands of people, they are all black people, you struggle to see a white person. It's almost impossible. You will have to travel and go out of your way to see a white person when you are in Nigeria, or to see an Indian. You look all around you and you see the skyscrapers, you see the big buildings, you see the big cars, and they are managed, owned by people who look like you. And everything happening in the environment is being managed by people who look like you. There is something in that. And every time that I have the blessing of being home and being out of the world, I see that difference. And the reputation of the few Nigerians who function out of the geography called Nigeria has pretty much defined our reputation capital in the world.
Is that because whoever's controlling the narrative is...
That's it. Because our story is being told by people
somebody else
who don't look like us. Our story is being documented by people who don't know us, who know very little about who we are. And so we need to start taking a stake in how our story is told. This documentary is...
I think that goes all around for underserved people everywhere, because somebody could come in and,
It's the same narrative.
They tell their story about you, and you're like, well, hold on a minute. But you know what? It's because you don't have the microphone.
Yes, that's it. That's it. And you need to get intentional to create your microphone.
Yeah.
Because nobody gives you what you deserve.
Yeah.
You get what you negotiate, and what you negotiate intentionally.
So nobody gives you what you deserve. You get what you negotiate.
Yes, and what you negotiate intentionally. And so this documentary is being driven by a guy called Oluyinka with his team. It's called Perception, and it's going to be on the biggest screen. They're going to premiere the documentary October 1 in Washington. And the goal, and I'm a stakeholder in that.
Okay, I was just about to ask you, what role do you play as an investor, executive? You're in the documentary. I'm in the documentary,
okay. But I'm a big supporter in what all of that represent, and I'm a stakeholder in it, and I'm promoting it and endorsing it for my platform.
And you said you and I we got to work on a documentary, right?
Yes, okay. we have. Here,
let's do it. Let's handshake right here.
Yes, done. So that's what it's all about. It's just telling the Nigerian story, the African story, by ourselves for the world. Right? We're not telling it for ourselves because we know who we are.
Yeah.
But we are telling our story the way it should be told for the world to learn. Right? And some people think that once you are going to Africa, you are going to be jumping on monkeys and trees.
Just like when people come to Texas, they think it's a bunch of cowboys and horses and steers.
So that's not what it is at all. There's so much.
Like when you tell people you come to Dallas,
Yes.
They think you're coming to a bunch of
Yes.
cowboys.
That's what they think, But that's not what it is.
They think you own a horse and a ranch,
Yes,
right?
and you're. So that's what the documentary is all about. We hope and we believe that it's going to be another contribution to how people see us, and for those who have missed it amongst us, to see how we truly are and how to see ourselves and how to relate with ourselves, is a testament to the weight of the Black condition in itself, as well as to the African condition, but all seen from the prism of the Nigerian condition. And it's amazing. It's a great work. I think everybody should see it when it's out there.
Okay. So this is the last question, and then I want you to, tell people where they can find you. And the last question is there anything that I did not ask you that you would like to share or that you would like to elaborate on?
Well, so many things, but we don't have time for that. But I would rather go back to the first question you asked me, because I never answered it.
Okay.
I just got into the energy because maybe I've missed you for so long. So I was just in your energy. You asked what I do.
Yeah.
So I've tried to represent that in different ways, but I'm a futurist. I explain that. I see the end from the beginning, and I teach the world the future of everything, of products, of markets, of people, of life, of faith, of religion, of spirituality, everything. I'm an iconoclast. I believe tradition is peer pressure from dead people, and we owe it to ourselves in the communication of our freedom to question everything that history has documented and try to find the next level of it. And I represent that, the destruction of what is impossible in the future. No matter how great it was yesterday, you can't be so loyal to what is working or what has worked and forget it's going to change. Talk to Kodak. They'll tell you what happened to them. So you got to be wise to know that everything has a lifespan, and part of your continued relevance is to be able to spot the expiry of an idea and to shift and pivot to the next level of it. So I represent how that happens. I'm a global thought leader. I help people make the shift from point A to point B, whatever those points are for different people across the world, across diverse cultures. I do that. You can find me on social media. I'm on Instagram, on this platform, same handle, at Olakunle Shurian. That would be OLAKUNLESORIYAN. I run different events in the world. I'm on tour right now. I have an event called PK Alone. PK is my alias. That's what people call me, right? But I have an event called PK Alone, and you could check pkalone.com. pkalone.com. And I'm touring the world. I'm going to be in London. I'm going to be in Houston. I'm going to be in Dallas here. I'm going to be in Maryland. I'm going to be in Toronto in Canada. I'm going to be in Ottawa in Canada. I'm going to be in Africa, in Nigeria. I'm going to be in Accra, Ghana. I'm touring with PK Alone in January. I have an event called Feedback from the Future, where we predict and we pretty much speak to what is coming in the new year. It happens every January, and we just do some strategic foresighting about the new year, what to expect, what's going to happen. And then there's this commitment I have to the next 7 years that I'm also teaching. So Feedback from the Future, you could watch out for that. Yeah, but that's all I do in a nutshell. I run a non-profit called Ishaya Africa. Ishaya is a Yoruba word meaning it's time to work Africa. It's a 501c3 non-profit. The goal is to first speak to people of African descent anywhere, including African Americans, Africans, Jamaican, anyone who is descended from there. You see, what people don't know is that people were taken from Africa and brought here as slaves. And there is a loss in that. But there is an equal loss back home, because every slave that came to America represents a disjointed family back in Africa. So maybe the dad was taken, the mom was there. Maybe the kids were taken, the brother was there. So we can find there's a mystery of completion that will only happen when Africans in the world recognize their socio-economic and political destiny with the continent. I call it bridging the gap. And until people in the continent rise to know that a part of them is out there, and people in the world know that a part of them is back there. In that connection, we create a lot of magic, right? So that's what I do. You could Google the name. You'll see a lot about me. It's a privilege and a blessing to be here. Walter, thank you for bringing me to the podcast. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. We're going to have you back. We're going to have you back.
With all joy. With all joy, my brother. I had a great time.
And it's time to get your podcast.
You know, that part, we need to do that. I've been trying to do that forever. It's time, though.
You're
now.
busy. I'll reach out to you. You're all over the world.
Man.
You got, hey.
But as I'm 50 now, I'm thinking more about legacy. And it's time to move less and create more.
But here's the thing, like we were talking about telling your story.
Yes.
And not letting somebody else tell it.
That's it.
That's the power of your podcast.
That's it. That's it. So it's time for that, actually.
Yeah.
And that's one of my critical focus right now.
So, until next time, we'll see you soon. Peace.
Southside 457.